We're going to go on a little field trip, but before we do, I want to talk about 3 albums that were released on this date. 2 of them are from the band INXS. This is their self-titled debut that came out in 1980 on October 13th on this date. When I discovered this album and I first listened to it, after heavily listening to Listen Like Thieves and Kick, to go and listen to this record, it blew me away. Like, I did not dislike this record. I immediately fell in love with this record. I love the way it starts off. If you guys see my other video, Who Was Your Beatles? INXS was my Beatles. INXS was my favorite band for many, many years. The better part of a decade, this was my favorite band. But there was so much music that I was being introduced to and that I was getting into at the time that even throughout my metal years, where I was heavily, deeply into metal, I still would listen to INXS. And my metal friends, my metal loving friends, they couldn't really understand, but I stuck to my guns. I never hid the fact that I loved INXS. I never hid any of my roots, really. This album really taught me that every band goes through quite a metamorphosis as they move on. I mean, there's a huge difference in their sound from that record to this record. This was also released on October 13th, but in 1982. So this album came out 2 years later. The album in between these two, Underneath the Colors, which we will celebrate next week, it was also released in the month of October. It's my favorite. I would say my favorite INXS album is this one. So Shabu Shabba is my favorite. Dare I say it's their best work, but it's easily my favorite album. I really like the swing a lot too. And I love Listen Like Thieves. Pretty much after Kick, I'm kind of like a little shaky on their stuff, but I still like a lot of their music. I love Michael Hutchins' vocals. Like, I thought they were, it was a real shame to lose them when we did. I don't even know what to say about that right now. It was really tough to get the news of his death, and the way he went out. It was really, really hard for me to digest that. I just want to leave it like that. But anyway, these are 2 albums that I've listened to countless times. They are part of what I like to call the 10,000 spin club, because I know that I've listened to these albums easily 10,000 times a pop. The third album that I want to celebrate today that's in my collection is hands down the most mind-bending record in my collection, and it's Nothingface by Voivod. This album, I don't even know what to say. Like, right now, I thought about playing some of the bass stuff for you guys because, bass player is great in this group. It is the epitome of what progressive metal would be. This band is phenomenal. And this album, it's their opus. It's their best album. It's my favorite of their albums. Let me leave it like that, because before hearing this album, the first Voivod album I heard was Dimension Hatros or Hatros. We always called it Hatros, but I know that's not the right way to pronounce it. Okay, thank you for allowing me to sort that out, even though you only had to wait for 1 second. So it's Dimension Hatros, but it's also pronounced in French, Dimension Atroce. So it means horrible. Anyway, Voivod is a French-Canadian band. So most of their interviews are in French. They're speaking French. So if you can speak French and understand French well, there is an interview somewhere out there on YouTube, and they do a full band interview. They talk and they play this entire album live. They answer questions and everything, but once again, they're speaking in French, so I didn't really understand. But the main standout in this band, as far as the musicians, they're all great, all of them. I have nothing but respect. I have nothing negative to say about anyone in this band. There are no weak links. But Piggy, the guitarist, rest in peace. This guy, the stuff he does on here is just phenomenal. His playing is so precise. When you think about precise players, there are only a few. There's some who have that grittiness, and you hear the authenticity of their playing, if that makes any sense. Not saying that Piggy's not authentic. He's very authentic, but there are 2 guys that stick out in my memory right away, who really come to mind when I think about guitar players who were part of scenes that where the music was pretty aggressive, but their playing is flawless, So his playing is just as direct and just as flawless as Ty Tabor from King's X. Same thing about Stefan Egerton, another guy. I used to always call him Steven Egerton. It's Stephen Egerton from the band All and Descendants. This guy, his guitar playing is so clean. I've seen him live several times. Listening back to those recordings, like his guitar work is flawless. So anyway, if you haven't heard this album, I highly recommend you check it out. Just wanted to make mention that it was released also on October 13th, 1989. These guys fell into that category with bands like Leeway, Watchtower. These were like progressive metal bands, and they just really thinking man's metal. These guys really take you to another place, though. It's like thinking man stuff, but it's also very trippy. This is one of those albums I've played for my family. Sometimes we'll sit in the living room, or even if I'm driving around. I used to drive, the kids were younger, and I'd be driving them around. I would play them all kinds of music. I'd play them Invasion of Your Privacy, from that to Cryptic Slaughter, Money Talks. I don't know if any of you guys are Cryptic Slaughter fans, but I play this album for them, especially my wife. So she's like, I like it, but I can't hang on to it. It has this neck breaking quality to it because of the changes and everything. And you don't know where one song starts or where the other one ends. And that is the beauty of this album. That's why it is hands down the most mind bending album in my collection. I have a few of them, but this one is number one. I promise you, I'll never waver from that. If for any reason I change my mind and say, you know what, this album is not the most mind-bending album in my collection, I'll make a special video about it. Not to throw shade on INXS. I love them. Once again, I have a video dedicated just to them about how much I loved them. I would love to know if you guys love any of these bands. Do you love INXS, or did you ever like INXS at one time? If it's not your thing, I understand. That's fine. Do you love Voivod? What are your favorite Voivod songs on this album? Because for me, other than the cover, the Pink Floyd cover that they do, all the songs to me are just, and the Pink Floyd cover is great. They do a great job with it. But I love the other songs so much. They're just like one collective song. Like I can't imagine taking away a track from this album. I wouldn't do it. But if I had to, it would be the cover, of course, right? So let me know what you guys think about this album. I'm going to go on and move on to the music store now. I've got a lot of things going on, but I'm going to look at that Sonnenberg once again, and hopefully that L2000 is still there. I'm going to give it a whirl too. I'm going to give it a play, mess with that a little bit. But yeah, I'm running out of time. They're going to close soon. So I might have to delay this video, or I'll let this video be separate. And I'm just going to let you know right now, coming soon, my field trip to Atlanta Discount Music, where I go and check out these basses one more time before making my decision on which one I want to go with.